Yep. One of my favorite stories in the book, and we have a lot of people that listen to us enjoy rom-coms and romance stories.
Yeah.
So, can you tell that story about how you first met? And because it seemed like you fell in love with June first. Like, when did she fall in love with you?
It was interesting because June and I were coming out of relationships. We've both been in long relationships. And I think that there was two things at play. One, I wasn't looking to be in a relationship. And I think when you're not looking to be in a relationship, it's the best because you're not really on your best behavior. I feel like with June, I was like, I don't know if I'll ever see this girl again. And so we were having lunch because we were talking about a show that she was doing. And I just was like very honest about where I was at. And I think because I was so honest, she was honest. I was like, this is where I am right now. I'm like kind of depressed. I'm a little bit fucked up, but I'm also like, I'm that's where I am. And she was also in a similar state. And so it started our relationship off in this like really not like I won't say brutal honesty, but just like we weren't trying to be anything that we're not. I think a lot of times in relationships, when you meet people, you're like, I'm this person, I'm that, and then it takes a while to be like, well, no, I'm actually this person. Um, so June and I really had this thing where it was like, I like this girl, like she's cool, she's different, but I also had that other energy of like, I just got out of a relationship. I can't be getting involved in anything. But I kept on finding myself like kind of drawn to her, and she would be drawn to me, but we would never really connect. It was a lot of these misconnections. We were just, she'd text me late, I would be out, or we were gonna have a date, and then she got too drunk at a Christmas party, and we didn't have our date. So it was just and it was like, oh, maybe this will never be like, but even if it wouldn't be, I was like, I wanted to have this person in my life. I don't know what it was. It was just something, and maybe it was just because I found myself being someone who I wasn't with anybody else with her.
Yeah.
And so, you know, what unfortunately kind of unfolds is when we finally do get together to have this date, it's going really, really well. But because it's also like our first kind of date, we also were protecting ourselves. So we invited like our friends to kind of like, oh, come out, we'll all go out. So it's not like a pressure on a date. Now, that was something we decided before the date started. We were gonna have like dinner, then meet up with them. But we had dinner and it's going really good. So now it's like, oh shit, get these friends out of here, but it's too late. They're already coming in. Like we already called in the reinforcements. And we didn't really have a chance to like kind of communicate with them where we were at. And so our friends sort of became our surrogates, right? They were like kind of backdooring deals for us. Like, does she like him? Does he like her? And I think that they were trying so hard to protect us that, like I didn't put this in the book, but they this like I didn't know how to put this in the book, but there's this whole story there where my friend comes up to me in this bar after June and I've had this amazing night. We had this great dinner. We went out dancing. We're having the best time. My friend's like, dude, she only likes you as a friend. And I was like, oh, and I just got crushed. I was just like I couldn't have sunk lower, like from such a high to such a low. And I made this decision in that moment, like, well, fuck it. Who cares? I like this person. I'm gonna just keep on just being who I am. We're not that we're just having a good time anyway. Like if she doesn't like me, that's fine. Now, what I didn't know was while my friend is telling me that, her friend is telling her the same thing. So now we both are sticking around, but we're both giving off these like I'm like, why is she so? She seems like she likes me, but my friend said she doesn't, and I think June's been like, he seems like he likes me, but like so we don't know, so we're really circling around each other. And there was this moment where the night was over, they closed up this bar, and I was like, I'm gonna go. And it was like in my mind, I was like, I'll never see this person again. But it was fun while it lasted. And I was I called her a cab. I hailed a cab, and she's like, no, I'm gonna walk. And I was like, you know what? I'll walk you. And I'm so happy that I did because I sent that cab off and we walked across town. And then we had this like beautiful walk. And it kind of brought us back to that dinner, that moment. And that's when we had our first kiss, which I think then really confused the hell out of us because we were like, I don't know what's going on. Wait a second. I know that he doesn't like. So we were both working under false pretenses because we both thought that each other said we don't like each other, but yet we kept on engaging with each other. So it took us a little bit of time to kind of figure out what was what. But once we did, we've been inseparable since.
Yeah, because in the book it doesn't say like
Right.
why'd your friends say that? Like why
You
they
know, yeah, it was, I was gonna put like a little like postscript there at one point to explain it, but I think the thing was my friends weren't trying to be bad, right? They were trying to protect. And when you're in your 20s, and maybe it's different now. I'm old. I've been with my wife for a long time. I don't know how it works, but I think the worst thing you ever wanted to do is feel like, oh, he likes you and you don't like him. Like your friends are trying to look out for you and be like, oh, no, 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 yeah, he likes his, like they weren't they weren't trying to sabotage it, but I think my friend, and this is so hard to explain, and I think this part of it was too, is trying to put this in the book, but my friend was reading her friend, and
Oh, okay.
because she was hedging, he was like, yeah, the friend, and she was hedging. So they both were hedging with each other, and they both like they made this decision to protect us because they were both misreading what each other were saying. So it was like, oh, like like it wasn't ill will. It wasn't like they were trying to like pull us apart. They just were trying to protect us, but they didn't need to. They like, they were getting involved, and that's why I'm like, I leave people alone. I'm not gonna set you up on a blind date. I don't care. Like, go do your thing. I realized as I gotten older, like, I don't need to set anybody up on blind dates. I don't need to be invested in anybody's relationship. Do your thing. Don't do your thing. I'm out. That's it.
If you enjoyed that clip, make sure you head over to www.bookupapp.com to download our app so you can connect with your favorite bookish content creators, start conversations, and start your own book club.